We're on the train to York and we're going to Edinburgh. And I'm also getting my ticket ready.
Alright.
Hiya. Yeah, I'm just getting it on my phone, sorry. Sorry, it's taking ages. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I'm going to screenshot it now. Did you capture all that?
Yeah.
Great.
Rich Scott money.
This is Micklefield. The next stop is York.
We're here and I 6 on the train to Edinburgh now, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle with the seat. It was double booked. We thought it seemed to be double booked or something. But the other people that were double booked for theirs, they've moved. They've moved now, so we're okay. And Catherine's getting on the Wi-Fi.
Yep.
We've arrived.
We're here. Yeah, I'm cold. We're at Edinburgh station and we're about to find the hotel and then we're going to go to Edinburgh Castle. Yeah! Yep. Nice and warm. We're going to pass the donuttery.
Is it your first time at a hub or have you been to a hub?
No, I haven't been to London before.
No problem. So what you do, you just take the bus.
So I don't think we have tea and coffee in the room, but we can come down and have free tea and coffee whenever we want.
Cool.
Ah, right.
Oh, you have to use your card. Oh, I see.
Oh, 105 just here.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been in these hub ones.
Yeah, I've never been in one of these before, so it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
Oh look, it says my name on the TV. Oh, that's cool. It says, hey Catherine.
Oh yes.
First things first, turn up the bloody heating. So there's some storage under here which looks pretty good. And it's got light as well, so that's good for seeing what you're doing. So there's the bed, the storage, and then there's another, just next to you down here, there's a drawer as well. So you've got more storage in there.
Ooh.
I think this is a pull-out table. I'm going to pull it out, and if it's not right... Yeah. Eat your dinner. Breakfast and that. And we've got a smart TV. Apparently it's got apps on it. That's pretty
Movies
good.
and stuff.
Yeah, movies. In over here, we've got the bathroom. Very modern. A shower, toilet. Obviously. You can see if you stand there, you can look in the bed.
Oh, you can see the bed, yeah.
So you could stand on the bed and watch me in the shower if you
So
want.
you got so much privacy in here then, basically.
Yeah.
That's probably not the best for people that don't want to be seen having a crap, but I mean, you got this thing to block it out, but above that.
Yeah, but when you've been in a long-term relationship like us, you're fine, aren't you?
Yeah, we're good.
We're used to seeing each other crap, so we're alright. So anyway, we've got over here, you're probably thinking, where the bloody hell do I put my clothes? Put them in this gap here where my hand is. Look at that. The only downside I would say is that you don't get a kettle, and that really upsets me because I like to drink tea all the time.
So you have to keep going downstairs.
So you've got to go downstairs. You do get free tea and coffee 24/7, but I'm antisocial and like to drink tea on my own. But you get some water though. That's good, isn't it? I'm not going to cover up the brand. You get some water.
My personality, I am somebody who I don't want to argue with people. I always want an amicable result that works for everybody. Being pressurised through high school, through primary school and everything like that, I know what it's like to be bullied and not stand up for yourself. So I'll be able to understand it from their perspective later on if they're upset. Which I think is an advantage when you have Asperger's and you're not entirely sure how people feel or what people are saying, or sometimes when you misread situations. I would say I'm more on the autism side than the Asperger's side. So I can socialise, I can communicate, I can read and write where there's a lot of a lot of people on one side of the spectrum who will have those difficulties and need care and support for the rest of their lives to be able to do, to be able to just function in normal society. Whereas I've taught myself how to communicate and how to read situations, and that goes back to the bullying. That sadly it happened, but actually it benefited me in the long term. That I can now recognise situations where it might be how somebody's talking to me or somebody's acted around me. I'd be able to put things in place to be able to cope with that. I'm creating a podcast series called That Autism Thing, and the whole ploy behind this series of podcasts is we sort of flip the table round. So we look at the perspective of somebody who's not on the autism spectrum or is got Asperger's or autism or wherever they are on that spectrum. I'm going to flip the table round, and I want to talk to people who are not on the autism spectrum about their experiences of autism, whether that be in employment, whether that be a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, there might be the brother, the sister. So it'll be a little bit of my perspective in a daily week of somebody who is an entrepreneur, who's a freelancer, been on the autism spectrum, but I also want this podcast to be as 50-50 split in being able to give both perspectives. Whereas I think there's a lot of bias that there are autism podcasts for people who are on the autism spectrum, and there are podcasts for people who are not on the autism spectrum. But I want to have that middle ground, and I've always wanted to create a podcast about my autism and my experiences, because I think I have a unique angle, a unique perspective that I can function in society. I think the word I like to use is divergent, but I can see both sides of the perspective, and I just sort of want to be able to have a middle ground where it's not all autism bashing or autism, praising. It's sort of, this is what it is. This is what A is saying about it, who is on the spectrum, but this is what B also says about it as an employer,
We're going to Edinburgh Castle now.
You just can't beat one-legged shoelace tying either.
No,
It's
very
good
dangerous.
it's good for your balance and
Yes.
martial arts skills also.
That's true.
Catherine's got a little mini backpack on.
I have. I've got my little bag on.
She likes it very much.
That's very cute. Right, I'm going to go and find out about this routine coffee thing. I'd like to know where it all is. Oh, sorry, I mean my popular brand of tea that Stephen Fry likes to drink. They've got take-out cups as well. So you can have lemon and ginger, Earl Grey. You like Earl Grey, don't you?
Oh yes.
It's got peppermint. That's good for your bowels. Yeah, and now we've done a bit more product placement. Whoops.
Don't need to be bag searched.
No, because it's so. Well, what can I put in there? A few packets of bourbons, maybe. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad I don't have to have that level of concentration. More stairs, oh no.
Just been inside the Scottish War Memorial, just behind me here. I've noticed that quite recently that when I'm in buildings with high ceilings, there's a lot of energy inside, and I feel it a lot more. I'm more sensitive to the energy nowadays. And as I was looking up, I was absorbing all the energy in the room, and it was like I was absorbing in the artistry as well of the artists that have created all this, the sculptures and the stained glass windows and all this beautiful architecture and whatnot, and feeling a spiritual connection to it. Not look at art in terms of an intellectual sense. It's more of a spiritual sense when you're just absorbing it and you're looking at it and being aware of it, and you're not really thinking about what does it mean so much. You're just seeing what emotions it provokes and what states of awareness it takes you to, and it's being curious like a child, you know.